Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I just want to say thank you for everyone coming, being here for this pretty monumental event for us anyway. We're here to kick off and announce the plans for a new law enforcement officer memorial that will be placed out front where the old memorial once stood, between the Sheriff's Department and the Topeka Police Department, right in front of the Law Enforcement Center. A lot of work has been taking place in the background. We established a law enforcement officer memorial committee. Not all the members are here, but there's been a lot of work done by the committee, done by our own officers, our non-sworn personnel, the Sheriff's Department, the deputies, and their non-sworn personnel, and as well as some community members and private firms that have helped us along. We have gotten to the point that we're ready to show what the plans look like and the timeline in which it's going to take to start construction, end construction, and have a beautiful memorial out front. Of course, that comes along with a price tag. So we're also going to be asking for some donations from the public to help us along in this endeavor. First, I will welcome Chief Vallejo up to give a few words, and following him will be Sheriff Hill.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Kazar. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to the media, my fellow officers, and everyone else. Mayor, thank you for being here, Sheriff, for being here today. Our memorial will serve as a lasting tribute to those who gave their lives protecting our community, a place to reflect, remember, and honor their service. It matters because each name represents sacrifice, courage, and a life of service. This memorial also helps us remember not just how they died, but how they lived. Today, I'm asking our community and local businesses to step forward, to help us build this memorial through donations, sponsorships, or just spreading the word. Together, we can ensure that their legacies live on. Thank you for your continued support and for standing with us to honor our fallen. With this, I'll conclude, and Sheriff Hill will say a few remarks.
This memorial is actually, I know it's personal for a lot of people in this room, especially the family of the fallen, but lost a lot of good friends in my 30-plus years here in Shawnee County, serving the public and being a law enforcement officer. The memorial reminds us all of their great sacrifice. It is very important for the officers that are still doing this job to understand that we will always honor and remember the fallen. It's a reminder every day when we answer the call for service how important their sacrifice is. And honestly, it's a debt that we could never repay our fallen officers. So it is important that we rebuild this memorial, and looking forward to finally getting that underway. Thanks.
And Mayor Mike Padilla is here. Would you like to say a few words, sir?
Sure.
Thank you for the invitation to be here today and join you in initiating this fundraiser, because it's important for me to continue to support an agency that I worked at for 34 years. And it's an honor to be associated with the Topeka Police Department for this long lifetime of mine. And I've really comes to think about it when you think about what we're dedicating, and that's for those who weren't able to finish a career, weren't able to finish their lives as a citizen of the Topeka because their lives were taken in violent acts. So it's important for us to remember that. Culturally, the Hispanic community celebrates their dead in an event called El Dia de los Muertos, means the Day of the Dead. It comes around Halloween. Everybody knows Halloween, but oftentimes they don't think about the Day of the Dead. That is really what the purpose is to keep in our hearts and minds the remembrance of those people who have been close to us in our family and who have served our community. And that's what this is. It's a memorial to their memory, to the sacrifice that the families gave during their career, and for the mourning that they suffered after their death. So it is extremely important for us as a community to acknowledge that contribution to the city of Topeka for men and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting everyone in this community. So I ask the entire community, give where you can, give what you can, and support this effort so that this memorial can go up and keep it in our minds forever while we live here in Topeka, that we honor those who serve. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. We have family members of the fallen here with us today. We also have family members of the fallen have been on the Law Enforcement Memorial Committee from the start. And they've had a great input and impact on this project. They have chosen not to come up and speak, and I understand, because I'm going to have a hard time myself because of the gravity of what the memorial means and what it means to them and what it means to us. Most of us in this room have gone through a number of tragedies where we've lost our friends, like the sheriff said. The memorial that we've set out with these families is unprecedented. It's a greater memorial than I've ever seen, locally, state. Now, of course, the National Memorial is more beautiful than any memorial I've ever seen, but this one is going to be a close second. The thought and planning that has gone into this, along with the feeling and emotion from the families of the fallen, have made this something that we will be very proud of for decades as we remember those who gave their lives for us. And the memorial, as great as it's going to be and as grand as it's going to be and beautiful, they deserve every bit of it and more than we can ever offer. I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Johnson so he can go through some of the nitty-gritty details of what the memorial is going to look like and how we got there. And after that, Lieutenant Eubanks will talk to all of us about the fundraising portion and how we'd like to get to $900,000 to erect this memorial.
So again, thanks for everybody for being here this afternoon. I'm going to do my best to try to speak up, but also step aside so everybody can see the screen behind me and get a better idea of what we're talking about. Again, our memorial had been out there for many years, and in November of 2022, we had a drunk driver come through off of 4th Street, enter into the property, and struck and destroyed our monument here. One of the things as we went through this process with the committee, one of the things that we wanted to do was do our best to pay tribute to the old monument, and in doing so we were able to save the bronze folded flag that was part of that monument, and we'll be incorporating that into the design of the new monument. If you're not familiar, this is a top-down view of the Law Enforcement Center. The previous monument was out there in the front at the red circle. Our goal and an intent is to make this a much larger and significant monument, and as the Assistant Chief said, something that other agencies look to and want to emulate and inspire, but also paying homage to the fallen officers that we've had and give us a place that we can actually go and think about them and pay our respects and reflect. So as we went through this process, we opened up to the committee and to both the sheriff's side and the PD side for people to give suggestions. And we've got numerous suggestions in that ultimately led to kind of a rough drawing like this one behind me. The intent is that there would be a reflection pool there in the center. And then along, which will be on the south side, is a stone wall with all the names engraved. This whole area will be landscaped and more of a park-like setting than what we've had previously. Ultimately, taking the ideas that we had, we came to a drawing like this, which is what our current goal is. So again, on the right-hand side is the sheriff's entrance, and on the left-hand side up here, just coming out of picture, is the PD entrance. And after we're done with the event inside, we can all go out if anybody wants to get a better look and talk through out front. But as you can tell, simply by the sheer scale, this is a much larger project than what we had had previously. The reflection pool will be here in the center, and again, the stone wall along the outer side to where all the names will be engraved. We'll have inlaid badges into the ground representing both the Shawnee County Sheriff's Department and the Topeka Police Department. The entire area will be landscaped nicely with both a handicapped entrance in and staired entrance on either side. As we enter, we'll go through a wrought iron archway to really signify entering into this area. Again, the scope and the sheer size of this is so much bigger than what we had before. And we wanted it to, again, have an opportunity to go there and reflect on our friends that had fallen in the line of duty. But also kind of just a place that officers can go, or the public if they want to go and have lunch and be in a peaceful setting. There's park benches and things like that that'll be here. So our goal is really to create a better environment. And why are we doing this? Well, right there. These are the officers and the deputies that we've lost in the line of duty from both agencies over the years, and will be who we will be reflecting and paying homage to by having their names engraved in the wall. It's impactful. And as the assistant chief said, it's hard to talk about at times, but that's what we're here, is we're here to talk about these individuals. So it is a lot of money that we're asking for, but we're asking for it for a good reason, and we would like to honor them as best as we can. So at this point, that's probably all I have to say, and again, we can step outside later if anybody wants to see the actual site and talk about it more, and we can go from there.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Eubanks, and I'm here representing the FOP Foundation. First of all, I'd like to start by saying thank you to the community. Over the years, the foundation has received support over and over again from our community, and we truly appreciate it. Every time we're in the time of need, the community steps up and helps us out. So I want to say thank you to that. We really appreciate that. Secondly, I'm here to talk about donations. If you would like to make a donation to this project, it can be done by sending a check to the Topeka Police Credit Union here at the Law Enforcement Center. The address for that is 320 South Kansas Avenue, Suite 100. The check should be made out to the FOP Foundation, and in the memo line, if you could include, it is for the Law Enforcement Memorial, we'll ensure that that check gets to the right account, and we can move forward with the project. Additionally, the foundation is a 501c3, so if you need some type of invoice or receipt for your donation, we can get that to you. You can request that by emailing Sarah Copeland. Her email address is scopeland, COPELAND, @topeka.org. And again, we'll ensure that gets to the right place, and so we can move forward on this project. With that, if you have any questions, let us know. I may not be able to answer all of them, but we have several people over here that will be able to.
Was there any insurance that was collected from the person that did that, and why not, or?
As part of the settlement, they are paying restitution, but as you can imagine, those are pretty small amounts coming in, and I believe those are going directly into the existing fund at the credit. I don't know the amount, but it was like $20 a month or something like that until it was paid off. I don't remember exactly what it was decided upon, but there was an order of restitution at the conclusion of the court case. Yeah.
And it took 2.5 years to get where we are today. That seems like a long time.
So we had a lot of planning that has gone into this.
Maybe don't mind. Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, certainly. So there's been a lot of planning, and again, the communication between the Memorial Committee, the different officers, and our partners that have assisted in helping us with the design have all been going through this. We've had a few setbacks that have caused delays, but ultimately now we're in a position that we feel we're ready to move forward. That's the purpose of this, is to start the process of raising the funds. Our hope is to have the funds raised by roughly October-ish, and then we will be able to finalize any designs by then on what the final product is going to be, if we have to scale back or if we can do larger. The goal is to break ground towards the end of the year and start doing some of the rough dirt work with the completion date at the end of April of next year. We strongly believe that we want this memorial to be completed for May's Law Enforcement Memorial Week, so we can actually set it into place at that point. So that kind of gives you a rough timeline on what we're looking at.
You can have barricades, I mean, kind of, sort of.
So part of the design we wanted to do was incorporating it to stay natural, using Kansas elements. So we're using the large limestone that'll be, I don't know if you call it milled, but gathered from the area, and will be stacked out there. There'll be a row initially that will give it more of a safety than what we had on the previous. So we'll have about a 2-foot initial stack of stone, and then as we go up to the engraved wall, we'll reach a height of between 6 and 8 feet. And on the back side, you'll see the stone with landscaping around, grasses and things of that nature. And so safety of the monument was a big goal in how we were designing it. But we also wanted the ability to have some privacy, some noise barriers. So when we have our memorials or events in there, we don't have all the street noise and things like that. So the intent of having that large wall is going to serve all of those. It's going to create safety in the event we have another DUI. They're going to hit that stone and nothing's going to happen, hopefully, but also give a visual and auditory obstruction so we can have more intimate events back there. Yep.
Are there any other questions? Yes, ma'am?
Who actually is going to construct the monument itself?
We have asked for donations in kind. There are a couple of companies that have shown some interest in helping with the construction materials project. We have already an engineering company online. So we have some companies that at this point wanted to remain anonymous that we're hopeful can cover some of those things. You're welcome. Anything else? Okay, I think that concludes the press conference. Again, if anybody wants to go outside and see what it's going to look like, in person, you're welcome to go out and we can talk about it there. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you.
And feel free to come up and look at the rendition up here on the board too, if you'd like to see it a little.